So today, in addition to being the 18th Sunday after Pentecost, also happens to be the first day of fall. And it also happens to be the start of my favorite season, Stewardship. But before we get into the new season of Stewardship, it's always good to look back at where we've been. So last year, the Stewardship campaign was One More for St. Mark's. And if you were at the Stewardship meeting when we came up with that campaign, you know, you start with an idea that's over there somewhere, and then you end up over there somewhere, and then somebody over there says something, and all of a sudden you go, oh, what if we had a campaign that was called One More for St. Mark's? What does that mean? What does that look like? And so we looked at what we were asking for. And I went back through my notes because I don't have a great memory. And the campaign was intended to encourage the congregation to commit to working to increase our effort in the community and think about doing one more thing to spread the word of Jesus. And then we gave you a bunch of ideas. We had a couple of different months and we talked about what you could do. And we said maybe it meant adding another $1 to your pledge, because we hate to talk about it, but stewardship in a church includes the topic of money. Maybe it was talking about adding one more thing to the sharing shed. We suggested maybe interacting with one person that you didn't know. We suggested maybe offering time to a volunteer organization. And we suggested simply doing a good deed every day. Think about it. I bet every single person in that room, in this room, has done at least one or two or four of them. So good for us, good for all of us. And back to that bloody money. Pledging units decreased from 36 to 32 members. Uh-oh. But the dollar amounts increased by $12,000. An average increase of 28%. That's amazing. So as we look towards the next year, first take a minute, pat yourself on the back, because we had an amazing year. We had a balanced budget for the first time. Carrie's not here, so we don't know. The first time in I don't know how long. Churches don't have balanced budgets anymore, and we did. That's awesome. And now we look forward. I don't know if you recall when we started the stewardship campaign last year, we had 4 people come up and do a reflection on what the church meant to them. And they shared their stories. They shared a story that was meaningful to them. And I can talk all day long about, could you increase your dollar amount? Could you do more? But what you're doing when you do that is sharing your stories. You're sharing what's important to you. I first started thinking about stories when Scarlett became ill. And if you close your eyes and you think about a person who embodies a church, you close your eyes and you think about St. Mark's. I'm sorry, Scarlett is there. And Pat Selwood and Kathy Sandberg and Steph Olson, they're all there. These are the faces of the church. I knew Scarlett the first Sunday that we came to church and she heard Jim's voice, she said, "Ooh, we're going to get a reader. We're going to put a reader up here, and Jim's going to come up and he's going to read." And I have no idea what the reading was, but I know that he read a word wrong, and it changed the entire meaning of the sentence. And Scarlett, in her very gentle way, came up to him and said, "The word was whatever the correct word was," and Jim laughed and we moved on. And Pat Selwood in the communications committee. So some of you don't know Pat, and certainly most of you know Pat way better than I knew Pat. But Pat Selwood and Scarlett told their stories about St. Mark's in everything they did, in every act that they performed in the church and in the community. They told their story of St. Mark's. So as we move into, excuse me, the new stewardship season, I want you to think about your stories. Because we are facing change. The change may come in 10 years, it may come in 2 years, but that's not what our stories are about. I found this poem. Your light does not come from your success. Your light is not ignited by perfection or achievement or body type. Your light is not fueled by popularity or acceptance. Neither is your light at any risk of being put out when others' lights around you are bright. Your light is simply made of the you-ness that makes you, you. The worries you have in the night, the music that sparks your joy, the books you choose to read twice, the memories stored safely in your heart, and the people you love and the people who love you. Your light is never dependent on how you look or how you perform. It's just there, and it's quite simply brilliant, and it's yours. And it lights up every room you walk into, whether you activate it or not. What a wonderful thing. So as you tell your stories, shine your light. That's what we're doing. We're shining our light. And we have our individual light, and we have our collective light, and we have the light of God. Shine bright, my friends.